Hey everyone, welcome to the Oasis Podcast. I'm your host, Miss AJ. Thanks for tuning in. An oasis is something that provides refuge, relief, or pleasant contrast, and that is exactly what you can find tuning into the Oasis Podcast. This will be a space where I and special guests will be cultivating intentional and honest conversations about life's journey. So what are you waiting for? Subscribe now. Also follow us on Instagram at the Oasis Podcast. That's TheOasis Podcast. Hey everyone, welcome to the 6th episode of the Oasis Podcast. Thank you for joining us again. Really appreciate it. So, I wanted to record this episode to follow up on my vacation that I took that was much needed. But before I get into that, how's everyone doing? For me, I am exhausted. Yes, I just came back from vacation and I'm tired. I've had a busy week since I came back. Work has been killer. But I was able to kind of get a little bit of rest in this weekend, which was good. But my week altogether was pretty good. Caught up with an old friend, and it's always great to catch up with old friends and just to see how the people in your life, or even if you don't, speak to them every day, but when you catch up, to see how they're just growing and glowing, seeing the growth, hearing the growth. It's really, really good. So I was able to do that, catch up with old friends. Amongst my busy week, I was able to pause for a little bit and catch up with her, and it was really, really nice. But now let's talk about this trip. This episode is really going to be about solo travel. So I would love to know how many people has done it. This trip wasn't supposed to be a solo trip. But it ended up being that way because I just needed to get away. I needed to relax. I needed to just refocus. And so, though the initial plans wasn't supposed to happen the way that it did, I'm happy that it did. I was super scared. I'm not even gonna front to take the trip alone, but instead of canceling altogether, I just reframed my thinking on it and just kind of to push myself not to be so anxious and scared about traveling solo. I told myself this was a self-care trip, which it essentially was, because that's why I even needed the break to begin with. Was because I was feeling a little burnt out. So taking the trip definitely was for my self-care, but putting that in the forefront of my mind as opposed to focusing on why, I was taking the trip alone. But I ended up going to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and it was fun. It was a different kind of fun, of course. When you're traveling alone, it's a different kind of fun. But for me, traveling is more than just, having a couple $100s to spend, or a few hundreds rather. Just because, or, it's I want to turn up in a new place, a different place. That's not really why I travel. For me, it's about self-care. It's about focusing or refocusing. It's about grounding myself. But most importantly, it's about learning more about myself in a different setting or an environment. And that to me is the most important part. I see how I interact with people. I see how other people are living, what they're eating, the things that they're doing. And I really kind of sit back and think, who would I be if I grew up here? And also pulling from the things that I liked and saying, okay, this is what I want to carry on with me moving further, moving along in life. And this, of course, there's one or two vacations I'll take during the year, and I'm like, yeah, this is strictly turn up. This is strictly party and drink and have a good time. But a majority of my vacations is really just to unwind and focus and think and relax, and not to come back home more exhausted, but to feel rested. And I definitely came back more rested. Child, listen, I slept and I ate, and it felt good. Like, it was just a different feeling than traveling with either a significant other or family or friends, whoever you travel with, because in those cases you have so many personalities, right, that you have to accommodate, and there's so much negotiating and compromising about things to do and what to eat. And it was something freeing about waking up when the hell you wanted to, right? Sleeping in the bed completely by yourself. I mean, I do that at home too, but still a bed that you don't have to make up, right? And that's another thing. Yeah, you had no real responsibilities, right? Outside of making sure you got money in your pocket for food and activities. It's like you get up, you shower, do whatever you need to do, you walk out, and then you come back and the place is clean. And it's like, that's amazing. But then the freedom in just like, you get up when you want to, and doing things exactly how you want to. There's no alarm waking you up, having to go to work, or thinking about, oh man, this is what I gotta do the next day. It just felt, just that in itself was just amazing. Being able to just be in that moment. For me too, I really love sunlight. I love sun. I love heat. And being right on the beach was everything. You wake up and the sun is just there, and looking out my window, the room I had a balcony that looked onto the pool, but if you looked a little further, it was the beach. And so, like, waking up and seeing that view, oh my gosh, it was so calming. And so calming, it was so relaxing and comforting at the same time. And I didn't really have time to sit there and think, oh my gosh, I'm here by myself. Like, oh my gosh, safety concerns, anything like that. Like, that was really, really comforting for me. And before I went on the trip, I went to therapy and talking to my therapist about, taking this trip and things like that. And, she was like, I told her I was anxious about it. And, we talked about why. And of course, thinking about safety, that's always a concern. Like, I'm out here by myself, don't know if someone's going to try to take advantage of me. I want to come back home. And so, we ended up talking about that, talking about the pros and cons of it all. But knowing that I was going to go, like, I wasn't going to cancel. Like, I was definitely going to go on this trip regardless of how scared I was or not. And I was pretty scared up until, like, getting on the plane. I hate planes to begin with. I love to travel, but I hate flying. And then flying out of, like, a different airport that I'm usually flying out of. I flew out of Newark for the first time, which wasn't a bad experience at all. And so that in itself was navigating to Newark and then, like, getting there. But which was really sweet and really nice is one of my baby cousins. She's not a baby, but she's still a baby to me. She called me and she video chatted me right before, and that was nice of her. It was really sweet of her, and, like, that really calmed me down a lot. And we were able to touch base, and my family members checked in on me, and person I was dating checked in on me as well, and I felt safe. I didn't feel at all, there was no point where I felt unsafe. I took a lot of Ubers. Uber drivers were totally nice. They were, if not, like, nice and, like, full of conversation, they were just respectful and polite, which is all the way okay for me. I'm not really great at small talk anyway, so that was good. And when I went to different locations and different places, people didn't make it weird that I was by myself, like when I went to restaurants or places to eat or whatever, or just doing certain activities, no one made it weird. Like, oh, you're by yourself? Like, no one really did that at all, which was nice. Even though Myrtle Beach, when I was there's a lot of families. Still couples. Did I say a lot of couples? There were a few couples, but mainly families. People who had kids, at least one kid with them. But it was still calm and peaceful, even though it was, families. It wasn't like loud or rowdy or anything like that, which was much needed. It wasn't a lot of loud noises. And I ran into, there was a lot of things going on, so that was nice. There was like a food truck festival. There was what is it, like a county fair, which was fun. I saw pig racing, which is also, I don't know, I'm a city girl, so when I see things like that, I'm like, oh, that's so cool. They're so cute. Like, I was just, yeah. That was so fun to me, just being able to experience that. And just also, like, from perspective of just sitting back and going, just being amazed, right? Being amazed for many reasons, just seeing the beauty of the world, like seeing what beauty lies outside of the block you live on, right? Living in New York City, growing up in New York City, like, you think New York City is everything and all you know is New York City, but there's so much out there in the world, just in the States alone. Not even traveling outside of the States, but just in the States alone, there's so much beauty. So that in itself was great. But then just feeling blessed in itself, the fact that I could, right, say I want a vacation and go and take the vacation. And that was in itself just, I always like am in awe when I get to do things like that for myself. Going on a vacation, going to a concert, going to a show, and thinking back to the child that I was, that I would have never dreamed of things like that. Or even when I did think of things like that, I thought about them in a way that was like other people did, And now being able to do that, like, literally sometimes brings tears to my eyes, and it just does something to me. It just fills me up in a way that I don't think a lot of people who see how much I travel and see how much, like, time I spend traveling or doing certain activities, I don't think they grasp that piece of it, because that's how deep it is for me. It really touches a piece of me that, yeah, I don't think I would have ever been able to touch if I didn't do these things. So that's one of the really great pieces about it. I was able to sit on the beach, just feel the air, feel the sun, just let some things go, process some things. And it's nice not being on a couch, right? It's nice not being on just inside. Like, I was just outside and comfortable, and there weren't any sirens or people yelling or cars driving by. It was just ocean. Oh, it was just it was great. It was really, really amazing. So I guess I would say from the trip would be the pros and cons of taking a solo trip. For those of you who are thinking about it, it's on your bucket list, because this was definitely on my bucket list to take a solo trip. Just, some pointers, I guess, some things. Make sure you got plenty of cash, okay? For me, I didn't anticipate how expensive traveling back and forth was going to be with Uber. Because I didn't rent a car, and I should have, but then again, I wouldn't be able to drink. So yeah, definitely make sure you have enough cash. If not, definitely have a credit card on you, because transportation was a thing. I think another con, not so much a con, but when you ask the locals how good the food is, keep in mind that may not be the case. Like, I tried one restaurant that people raved about, and it was like, it was okay, like, I've had better. Yeah, I could go like around the corner and had like better food, but not that it was terrible, but I could have had better food. And like, I think I built up the anticipation, like, oh, this could be good, when it was like just okay. So keeping that in mind. So having enough cash to travel around, and just don't have your hopes too high when it comes to getting suggestions from locals about food. What else? There wasn't, outside of that, I don't think I had any cons. Pros were, you get to do what you want. You can do it how you want. You get to do it when you want. you definitely have to enjoy spending time by yourself. Not to say that people won't talk to you and be social and all that. I'm not the most trusting of people, so I'll definitely do small talk, but I'm not gonna like go along with someone. I was offered like to go to like shows and games and all kinds of stuff, and I was like, no, I'm good, thank you. So definitely be comfortable spending time with yourself. Be comfortable in your own company. You will be around other people, but you're gonna be by yourself mainly. So keeping that in mind. What else? I think, yeah, you can make your own itinerary, like whatever you want to do. If today you didn't get to do something, do it whenever you feel like it. Which I think I love that freedom. And things you probably wouldn't normally try, do it. I went to the aquarium. I went on a sky wheel. Tried different like desserts and just different things. And you have that freedom to try all these things. If you wanted to stay in and sleep, no one's judging you. You know what I'm saying? When you travel with your homegirls or whoever you travel with, and like you really just want to stay inside a damn room and just stay in the air condition and just watch TV, just because no one judges you. And order room service, you can do that. Stuff your face. No one judges how much you eat, right? No one judges when you eat. I definitely did a lot of eating. Oh gosh, I ate too much crap when I wanted, how I wanted it, which was great. And of course, if you hate flying, that might be a con for you. But the pro for even flying is that, you quick, grab your stuff, you go, you sit, you can sleep, you don't have to entertain nobody in conversation. And everything is done at your pace. And I think that's really important. It's really essential. I really suggest everyone to do it. And I know if there are people out here like me who want to travel, but you want to do so much stuff, right? And traveling is one of those things. But you too afraid, right? You're scared. You want to travel with people. Of course, it's always better, I guess, to have company. Or rather, it's always nice to have company. But I would say to you, don't let it hold you back. Like, do it. And even if it's scary, do it. Don't feel that you won't have as much fun. The fun is going to be different. And if you're probably a little more adventurous, you probably have way more fun. But don't let that hold you back. You know what I'm saying? If people flop, say cool. You know what I'm saying? I'm okay with that. Don't make them feel bad, and it's fine. Everybody has different thoughts and feelings when it comes to different things and how they spend their money. I like to spend my money on experiences, and to me, it's never a waste of money. I'd rather do that than spend on material things. And so, yeah, I will drop a certain amount of money on a trip quicker than I would on a pair of shoes or a bag or something like that. I will drop money on a concert or a show before I'll do it on a new whatever material thing. That's just me. And other people are not like that. And so, yeah, the idea of a trip would sound great to a group of people. And then when it comes down to the numbers, people will be like, oh man, I could use this to buy this, or I could use this to buy makeup, I could use this to buy shoes. And it's okay. That's their prerogative. If that's who they are, that's what they're interested in, let that be. But that doesn't have to change who you are and what you want. So do it. There's a lot of groups on Facebook there's probably other places for people who travel solo. So do that. You can connect to new people in a new city. Again, that depends on how adventurous you are, how trusting you are. So there's ways you can, even though you might be traveling quote unquote by yourself, you can meet up with people and they can show you around. But don't be afraid to take that trip by yourself. Like, I feel like this is my toe in the water of solo travel because I want to go on the other side of the world and I'm going to do it. And if I have to do it solo, I'm going to do it solo. This definitely helped me feel empowered, and I learned, that I have this new layer of strength and I can actually do it, and I did it, and it wasn't nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be. Not nearly as scary at all. And I say go for it. Just definitely dive in. Don't get mad at people. Just say okay. And just find a place that you're comfortable, like you feel comfortable with. Of course, read up on it. if it's safe to travel for you, if you're a woman or if you're a man, depending on where you're going. Just definitely do it. Like, that's all I'm gonna say. Do it. You gain a different sense of yourself from the experience, for sure. So yeah, that's what I wanted to share with you all. Just my solo trip and kind of how that experience really did something for me. And so I did recently drop the episode on dating, and I've already gotten back some feedback on that. So be looking forward to a part 2. Apparently people got some things to say and there's some things they want to hear. So I've got some suggestions that I'm going to incorporate in the dating in your 30s part 2. So definitely look forward to that. So for the what's new, what's happening, or intentions for the week segment. So for this week, I am having a pretty easy work week, so I'm happy about that. I guess I don't need to focus on that so much. But I really am looking forward to having a calm week. And just being able to ground myself while I'm back home. I think I'm still a little frazzled coming off of that vacation and jumping into such a busy work week. So my intention is to ground myself for this week and work on that next part 2 episode for you all. I hope this one's going to be really good. And I hope you all do listen and subscribe, of course, and share the episodes, and definitely share your comments and your questions. I would love to start doing questions episodes, so please email, send your questions, DM me your questions, and that'd be great. I'm just looking forward to really working on some new stuff for you all, some new content for sure. Today's Connection Corner, I'm going to leave you all with some words that I got from Soul Guidance on Instagram, and they read, "Shout out to everyone who is trying right now, trying to do the right thing, trying to stay open, trying to hold on, trying to let go, trying to find their flow, trying to stay afloat, trying to meet each new day, trying to find their balance, trying to love themselves, trying new things and new ways. I see you. I'm there too. We're in this together." Thank you for joining us.